Welcome to this very special edition of the Author's Voice with KAJ, a show where we explore stories behind the stories. Here we dive into the worlds created by authors, discover their inspirations, and ensure that you walk away enriched and inspired. And today we have with us author Evgeniy Kharam. Is a cybersecurity expert, architect, advisor, podcaster with over 25 years of experience, and he collaborates with global consulting service companies. Passionate about how soft skills like communication, empathy, adaptability, and collaboration make a real difference in the tech industry. And he's written a book, Architecting Success: The Art of Soft Skills in Technical Sales. We'll talk about that. Welcome to the show, Evgeny.
Thank you. And it's my pleasure to be here second time. Thank you for the invite. I enjoyed the first time and happy to dive in to explain how I hope the book can help people's lives and make them a better person.
Absolutely, absolutely. Welcome to the show once again, Evgeny. This is a new show focusing on authors, and we'll focus on the book. So let's dive into the story behind the story. First, when did you think of writing this book? What inspired you to write this book of yours, Evgeny?
This is interesting because there's actually a couple of things that inspired me. Number one, during the pandemic, we all moved to work remotely. And by working remotely, we needed to use Zooms, Teams, and Google Meets to connect to people. And I realized that people are usually very distracted. Like for now, I have a sun coming to my eyes. That might be distracted. And because people are distracted, we need to figure out a way to connect to them on a personal level. And connect to them on a personal level will change the mechanism, will change how we interact with the person. They will care more about us and they will care more about our message. So this is number one. Number two, I had the experience to working in a service company, and I heard many vendors in cyber, but it's also applicable everywhere else, pitching their products. And I really didn't like the approach of here is my slides, here is my demo. There was no dynamic approach. Everybody were very similar. And I wanted to change it. I wanted to figure out the way where we can be dynamic and personal to the other side. We will show them what the customer wants to see and not what corporate marketing wants to show them. And the last one is the entire change about the customer in general becoming very educated. You can go to ChatGPT and find a lot about the product. So there is no need to describe the history of the company all the time. There's probably a much better way to understand the need of the customer, what's the problem we need to solve, and show them how we can solve it for them. So this was probably the three main parts.
Absolutely. So, Evgeny, I want to understand. I am not a technology person. I understand ChatGPT, but beyond that, I don't know much. When you talk of architecting success, the art of soft skills in technical sales, what should one understand? What this book is all about?
Think about that. While you say you're not a technology person, you're still buying a TV, you're still buying a vacuum, a refrigerator, a new car. Every things we buy right now have one or a lot degree of technology. So when we selling something that technology related, depend how complicated it is. This is maybe the new software. So right now you're using StreamYard, for example. What if you use something else? How do you decide to use this software and not other software? You may be doing your own editing or somebody else doing editing for you. It's also a software. And you may buy a different software. How can I understand which software you need? What will be applicable to you? Are you a more visual person? Are you an audio person? How do you collect information? How do I ask questions to understand who you are? How do I build this connection? All this in a book. So think about that I'm not teaching you how to sell. There's like hundreds of books that doing that, but I'm teaching you how to pave the road to connect to you that I will able to get to the selling part.
Absolutely. So, who is this book for? Who have you targeted through your book? What is it that you want them to learn in this book?
Definitely that people are, that are in sales and sales engineering. So the sales people and the technology people that are supporting the sales people in SaaS applications, in technology sales on over the internet, in cybersecurity. But not just them. Many people that work as customer success, for example, that working with customers, that are working with basically B2B sales, I think so, will be applicable. Maybe not all the chapters, but there's many chapters that will be applicable. There's chapters that explain to you how to use your voice, how to speak better, because voice is a tool that we use in soft skills. How to choose a better microphone. Today, I didn't made a good choice with my video because the sound came out from a different direction, or at least my my room shows right now. But in many cases, I need to choose my better background. I want to choose a better camera. I use teleprompter right now. This way I can see and see you much easier and have better eye connection. There's a chapter that talk about fear. Think about how many individuals, like young boys and girls, and maybe not so young boys and girls, want to do a career change and they're afraid. How do you overcome fear? What do you do with it? And probably last not the least is how to be present. Because if I burn out, it's quite hard to be present and do what I'm supposed to be doing.
Absolutely. So, you see, you talk about, about this big transformative power of these skills. What do you mean by that? Where is this? What are soft skills if we understand? People know about it, but they know it in their own manner. What is it that you want to, emphasize on?
It's a good question because as you mentioned, everybody may understand it differently. And the way I explain it, think about that hard skills is something we're doing and it's repeatable. Mathematics, chemistry, mechanics. We're doing certain things in order and we expect the same outcome every time we're doing this. With soft skills is not the case because every time, for example, I'll say, how you doing? You'll say, I'm good. Now, if I ask you four times how you doing, you want to punch me in the face and tell me, Evgeny, what's wrong with you? You already asked four times how you doing. So something changed. If I'm talking to you and you, let's say, on the phone, and suddenly your phone dropped or you step into the water, your voice will change. Something will change with you, and our conversation will change as well. You may have a bad morning. You may have a good morning. There's a lot of things that may change, and this is part of soft skills. I do want to mention a few because people want to understand and have more examples usually. So think about empathy, think about active listening, think about vulnerability. Probably one of my favorite one is curiosity, because if I'm not curious, I'm not going to be able to learn, adapt, and change what I do. Think about guidance. So this is like guidance. It's so important, and in a way, it's part of vulnerability. We talk about vulnerability a lot, but we don't really dive in because the people that are strong actually can allow to be more vulnerable because I can ask for help. I can ask for guidance. I can ask to elaborate if I didn't understand something. And all these are part of soft skills.
Absolutely. So, can you tell us a bit more about the book, different chapters, the way you have put, put everything in one single book, but divided it in much more different ways. Tell us a bit so that people know, okay, what is it that they can expect from this book?
The book is designed, a relatively short book, it's not a long book. The audio version is literally 3 hours. And think about building blocks, almost like a bridge, and we have blocks under the bridge, or building blocks when we build a house. So there's many chapters, around 14, and every chapter is a different building block that help you to learn and get to mastery in a specific topic. I divided the book also to three different groups. So in the beginning, we talk about a bit of a history of sales. Then we dive into examples and what need to be done right now. And then we have more add-ons. And in the add-ons, we talk more about breathing, a fear, voice, how to ask questions, open-ended questions, closed-ended questions. In the middle, we talk about the process, about the entire idea of how do we run sales to get to this part, how we do discovery, very important part. Because if I want to connect to you, I want to understand what motivates you, what drives you, what kind of hobbies you have. So it's important for me to be able to learn this. I need to do discovery online, for example, asking friends.
Absolutely. So, any particular chapter, anything in particular topic that you would want people, you have put more emphasis on, want people to at least know about that? Is there any
Yeah,
particular area of the book?
I think it's the fear chapter. There is an entire chapter related to fear because fear could be an enabler, or fear could be also something that's going to prevent us doing something. And the more, like, even after the book, when I wrote the book, I finding myself talking about fear much more. And I'll give you an example. Think about that. We have fear and we have excitement, and they're very, very close to each other, because the difference between fear and excitement is with fear, we don't know the outcome. And with excitement, we know the outcome. I'll give you an example. For listeners that have kids, when you ever took your kid to a slide, they're usually afraid, go down the slide. But the moment they're going down the slide, suddenly fear changed to excitement and they want to go again, 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 because they now know what to expect. Why do I bring this? Because we can change the modality, we can change what's in our head and replace fear with excitement. We are afraid to go and present to these people. We are afraid to pitch this idea. But in reality, maybe we are excited because it's something new, it's something more meaningful. The stakes are higher. And there are so many different ways to connect and work with fear to make it something much more. Because fear is not bad, fear could be good as well.
Absolutely. So, what was the most challenging part of writing this particular book, Evgen?
Oh, it's a good one. I wanted to be concise. I didn't want to repeat myself a lot. So, how to write idea to be concise, but still enough to explain to people what I mean by this and what to do with it.
Absolutely. And now, in a nutshell, if you look at it, what do you want readers of this book to take away? What insights, what message do you want readers to take away from this particular book?
There's are different ways to do stuff to do. There's ourself that we need to find ourselves, what the best person we are, not the best person we are. What is the unique way for you to connect to other people? And I'm providing enough ideas of how it can be done that you can adapt to yourself. And the most important one, that soft skills are not just at work. The communication part is not just work. This could be with friends, with family. There is a way to communicate, there is a way to explain our ideas, there is a way for the technology people, especially, to change the ways they communicate, maybe use metaphors to explain their ideas in a different way.
Absolutely. And now you are a cybersecurity advisor, cybersecurity architect. Have you dealt anything about cybersecurity in there? Now, artificial intelligence has come in. The world,
Uh, y-
every day is changing at a very fast pace. How should one look at that
yeah.
part?
So I'm providing examples from cybersecurity sales because this is my domain. There is a chapter in the end about how do I foreseen selling will change with AI, how AI bots can do more research and more development of the ideas and testing. So there's a bit of chapter about cyber, but I didn't want to go deep on cyber because I wanted the book to be applicable for many people, not just cyber people.
Right. But now cybersecurity is such a big thing. Do you think you will look at another book now, maybe an extension of this, purely focused on another book on cybersecurity itself, focused on that? Because the world is changing every day. People want a lot of understanding of this particular issue.
So this is interesting, and I would like to hear what the audience says because what I find particularly this I'm a second-time immigrant. English is not my first language. English is my third language. And I find that people that are immigrants having harder time when they move to a different country. I'm in Canada, and I kind of feeling I want to write a book that can help not sales, help technology people to adapt and move from fear to flow. So probably the next book will be related to communication and soft skills for immigrants or immigrants in tech or combination of it.
Absolutely. There's so much to learn from you, Evgeny, and about especially on cybersecurity. And I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you in terms of cybersecurity, in terms of knowing more about your book, buying your book, just being in touch with you. What's the best way for them to do so?
Thank you. So there's two ways to do it. One is go to LinkedIn and type my name, Evgeniy Kharam, and I'm all usually on LinkedIn, happy to connect, and if I can help to go to cyber soft skills, happy to do it. The other part, more about the book, is soft skills tech .ca or softskillstech.com is everything about the book.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the Author's Voice with KJ. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you very much.